Ditka, the fury and the passion. It's a demonstrative coaching style, a style that drives and motivates his players. Mike Ditka has won a Super Bowl, but recent times have seen a strangely stoic sideline demeanor as the Bears have lost their last 5 games in a row. The Chicago Bears face the Houston Oilers on ABC's Monday Night Football. Houston, Texas, home of the Houston Oilers, and also the home of the Astrodome. One of the more noisy venues in the National Football League, and the Dome will be rocking tonight as the Houston Oilers take on the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, along with Al Michaels, Dan Deerdorf. Happy you're with us. This 1992 season has really taken on soap opera dimensions.
Frank, they are looking ahead. They're looking to the future. First, what about the future of Mike Ditka? There's been rampant speculation. Will he resign? Will he get fired? Will he simply explode and self-destruct? He made it clear to us last night in no uncertain terms he intends to be back as the head coach of the Bears next year. Then he said we have to do some weeding and seeding. That process has already started. P.T. Willis starts tonight again at quarterback in place of Jim Harbaugh. Darren Lewis starts at running back in place of Neil Anderson. They'll revamp the offensive line. We'll get into that. And on the other side of the ball, the first thing they have to do is find a replacement for the retiring Mike Singletary. Peter Tom Willis out of Florida State started last week, had good stats in the game against Cleveland, but threw a very harmful interception early on, and they lost to the Browns. Lewis and Muster, the running backs. Davis and Morgan are the wideouts. Jennings, the tight end. We'll get to the interior lineman in a moment as Willis hands the ball to Lewis. And Lewis takes it out to the 14-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Now up front, for the moment, Auzine starting at left tackle, and he is part of their future as well. Bortz, Fontenot, Thayer, and Van Horn, some familiar names. 2nd and 5 at the 14-yard line. And this is Lewis again, and Lewis is out to the 20-yard line, and it should be enough for a first down. Al Smith makes the tackle. Darren Lewis, the all-time leading ground gainer in the history of the Southwest Conference, went to Texas A&M. Big story already tonight. Greg Landry, who's normally on the sideline, the offensive coordinator, and calls the plays, and he stands next to Mike Ditka, is upstairs on the headset to Ditka on the sidelines.
And Ditka, we presume, is calling the plays. He did that for a lot of years before he turned it over to Greg Landry.
The teams with losing records in the 73-year history of the franchise. Brad Muster takes the toss and takes it out to the 34-yard line for another Chicago first down. So an impressive beginning on the ground for the Bears.
And this is kind of typical of the Bears season. They did the same thing to Cleveland a week ago. They dominated in the early moments, took the ball all the way down field with plays just like this, running the football. Muster and Neil Anderson, and then when they got down inside the 20, they self-destructed.
Ditka last night told us that we shouldn't necessarily expect P.T. Willis to go the distance tonight, that he expects to give Harbaugh some playing time as well. So it is a clear-cut case of musical players here in Chicago.
3rd down and 7 at the 36-yard line, and Neil Anderson is now in the game out of the shotgun. Anderson goes into the pattern, and the pass is caught by Anderson for a first down. He's covered and tackled by Al Smith up at the 48, and that's another Chicago first down on an impressive opening drive. The guys up front are Roper, McMichael, the Fridge, Perry, and Dent. Singletary, the sole linebacker, and then against the run and shoot, the 6 defensive backs. Wolford, Stinson, Gale, Carrier. They normally start against teams with regular offenses, and then Thane and Tate are the extra backs against the Houston run and shoot. No score. Bears have it at their own 49-yard line, and Darren Lewis swings to the outside and takes it to the Oiler 43-yard line, tackled by Al Smith after a gain of 8. 2nd down and a long 2, and Brad Muster picks up a first down, takes the ball to the 38-yard line, and Al Smith gets credit for another tackle.
Meanwhile, the Bears are quietly blowing out the 5th-ranked defense on the ground.
First down from the 38-yard line, and Lewis again picks up 4, takes it to the 34 with 5.5 minutes to go. No score first quarter. Well, Mike Singletary, who's been playing with the Bears for a long time, whether it's Baylor or Chicago, a graduate of the university in Waco and playing in Houston for the final time, and
interestingly enough, he's going to end his regular season career in Texas because their final game is at Dallas.
Worthing High School right here in Houston. They are so rightfully proud of the future Hall of Famer.
First down, Oilers at the 29. 2.5 minutes to go. First quarter, no score. On a delay, this is White with room to roam. Close to a first down. Up to the 39-yard line. Tackled by David Tate. First and 5 now from the 50-yard line. And the catch is made by Curtis Duncan, and he gets body slammed down by Donnell Wolford.
Now it looks like the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC may have to go through Pittsburgh.
Yep. They have the best record in the conference at the moment. Third down and 8.
That's a fumble.
Gets hit. The ball is loose. Richard Dent was there to dislodge it, but the Oilers recover it. It's David Williams, the tackle, who maintains possession.
Well, there's something we don't see very often. Richard Dent hitting the quarterback. Only several hundred times in his career has he gotten around that corner and come in from the backside and put the hurt on a quarterback. And that was well before Carlson is in the throwing motion. And that is a fumble all the way. And Richard Dent, one of the superior pass rushers who has ever played in the National Football League.
That amounts to a 38-yard penalty on the bomb thrown by Willis. On the first down, he gives it to Muster. And he takes it inside the 40 for a gain of 4.
So they're really hurting with Waddle on the bench tonight.
I'll say this about Jennings. He catches the ball when it comes to him.
Second and 6. And Neil Anderson takes the ball to the 34-yard line.
And things are starting to pick up a little bit down on the field. And if you are leaving the game, you just can't stop a yard from the sideline and run a play. And that's what they did in Green Bay.
Here's Lorenzo White on first down from the 36-yard line. And White, for a gain of 15, takes it across the 50 where he's tackled by David Tate and a first down. Third down and 6 at the 45-yard line. Carlson fires. Slaughter got open. First down to the 30-yard line. Tackled by Carrier.
We have seen some good secondary work by David Tate here in the second quarter.
And we talked about the size of some of that Chicago secondary. Tate's one of the big ones. He's 200-pounder, and he can really put the hit on you. Timed this out beautifully, reading the eyes of Cody Carlson.
Bears have it at their own 8-yard line after the penalty on the run back. On first and 10, Willis. And he has the open receiver, Morgan, and he's run out of bounds up at the 30-yard line by Chris Dishman. The Bears this season have been extremely effective.
And the two Chicago quarterbacks of note, P.T. Willis and Jim Harbaugh, both have contracts that expire at the end of the season and will be in that class that will be affected by Judge Doty's ruling. So the quarterback future of the Bears certainly uncertain.
Second down and 9. Willis throws. Davis makes the catch, and Wendell Davis takes it out to the 38-yard line. He's tackled by Chris Dishman, and it will be third down and roughly 2. Will Fuhrer, perhaps a quarterback of the future for Chicago, a rookie, and a very confident rookie out of Virginia Tech. We had a chance to watch him in a preseason game against New Orleans. Right now, number 3 on the depth chart.
This game is barely over an hour old, and you see the time remaining in the first half.
From the 35, Carlson has to scramble, throws against the grain, and Haywood Jeffrey somehow comes up with it. Lemuel Stinson with the coverage. First down in Chicago from the 20-yard line. They have 2 timeouts. They set up a screen, and it's juggled by Anderson. And he is bounced out of bounds at about the line of scrimmage by Jeff Alm with 51 ticks left.
And Neal just bounces off. Look at this shot. Neal concentrates on the ball, knows he's going to get the hit, which he does from Robertson. Tucks it away and gets some yardage out of it.
Second and 11. 4-man rush. Willis under pressure, has it kicked off by Bubba McDowell. Touchdown.
And he ought to let Sean Jones spike the ball. They're just not making plays, and there's a difference between making plays and playing hard.
End around. Gibbons. Ernest Gibbons begins the second half with a 45-yard end around. 3rd and 6 at the 33-yard line. And Carlson drops the ball and recovers it at the 39-yard line. That was Richard Dent coming in again, as he did in the first half, to knock it loose. And Dale Hamer was almost knocked every which way but loose.
Oh, Zorich and Tim Ryan doing a little shoulder pad shuffling. There he is, 95, working against this time Don Maggs. And it was a little hand fighting, and that's called by the skin of your finger. That is the look of a man who's warming up. Jim Harbaugh looks like he may get a shot at quarterbacking the Bears here in the second half.
2nd and 5 at the 13-yard line. Muster, big hole. Brad Muster barrels his way out to the 33-yard line.
Well, the cry has always been we have to get the ball to Muster more often. He's very effective as an inside runner, good receiver. Good surge over on the right side, too, for Brad Muster.
Well, it was a good-looking hole. Let's take a look at it here. Van Horn is on the right side. Tom Thayer boards. And that is manhandling the Oiler defensive line. Vano in its center. That was a well-executed play.
From the 33-yard line, here's Lewis. And he exploits that hole for a 6-yard gain out to the 39-yard line. They started at their 12. They've reached the 39 to the 2nd down and 4. And here's Muster through the middle. And Brad Muster bangs his way out to the 49-yard line for another first down. The rookie Eddie Robinson out of Alabama State makes the tackle.
And the Bears going up the middle, much to Jim Eddy's disbelief. Remember, Doug Smith is on injured reserve, their Pro Bowl nose guard. Jeff Alm has taken his place. Al Smith is blocked. Childress is blocked.
Watch this. Muster carrying it a little loosely. Sean Jones got the hand in there to knock it free. And here comes Childress.
Gibbons in motion. Oilers at the 43-yard line of Chicago. 9:57 to go in the 3rd. Here's White on a misdirection play, taking it inside the 35, and that's another first down. And against the Bears, 65%. Oilers trying to cash in here after a turnover. And this is Slaughter for a first down. Forward progress to the 13-yard line. Down to 3. Backside pressure from Sampson. Carlson throws for a touchdown and Slaughter.
Oh, yeah. What a great change.
We're looking for a Christmas present tonight from the Bears, and they weren't waiting to get it. They took it.
Willis stays in the game. And Brad Muster fights his way out to the 21-yard line for a gain of 4. As play resumes, it was an injury timeout. Dante Jones mildly shaken up, out for the moment. 3-yard pickup at the 42-yard line on 2nd and 7. The catch is made by Duncan. Curtis stays inbounds. First down at the 40-yard line.
Did just about everything you could do.
And falls on.
20-yard penalty. At the 45-yard line, he floats one perfectly into the arms of Darren Lewis. And on one pass, he gains about as much yardage as he had thrown for in almost 3 quarters. Rick Graff with the coverage.
Well, that's and you
touch.
Called it the coverage. There it is. Graff, a 250-pound linebacker, is incapable of covering someone as speedy as Darren Lewis one-on-one out of the backfield. And that is that's just a good example of you got to give Willis credit. He found the best matchup he could find on the field in Lewis on Graff and got him the ball.
And that's a great touch, too, over Graff.
3rd down 13 at the Oiler 18-yard line. Peter Tom Willis from the shotgun. Throws over the middle to Neil Anderson. And Neil Anderson in for the touchdown.
Anderson, like he did and has done so often, breaking tackles, but like he did against Cleveland to temporarily get the Bears back into that game.
A fortunate turn of events. Willis stands in there. He had Jones coming from the other side, and for the second time, Frank, on this drive, he demonstrates nice touch.
And the Oilers now trying to take as much time off the clock as they can. They snap it with the play clock at 3. And Carlson goes deep, has a wide open Jeffries inside the 30. Tackled at the 23-yard line by Donnell Wolford. 46-yard pickup. First down at the 24. Here is Lorenzo White, and Lorenzo White takes it to the 16-yard line, and he is over 1,000. Houston leading by 10. End around, inside give to Slaughter. Webster Slaughter out of bounds at the 1-yard line. First and goal, and Lorenzo White dives in for the touchdown.
Buffalo losing. They are back in, definitely back in for a hunt for that division title.
First down from the 24-yard line. Willis throws underneath to Brad Muster. He gets popped at the 30-yard line after a gain of 6. Tackled by Al Smith. Willis airs it out, and it's Morgan who gets free. And Anthony Morgan takes it all the way to the 15-yard line, where he's tackled by Marcus Robertson. And Morgan shaken up.
A great effort by Morgan to get by Jerry Gray. There was a lot of bumping going on the sidelines, and a good strong arm by Willis to let Morgan run under it. Morgan, the fastest of the Bears receivers. That's not saying a whole lot, but he has got great speed, like so many of the wide receivers we've seen from Tennessee. But watch 21, that's Jerry Gray with a little late bump, now a little left arm. Morgan stays on stride, and Willis is right in there with it.
I mean, he got barely a piece of Anthony Morgan and paid a stiff price for it.
Ooh, here comes Harbaugh.
Oh, and he's waving Harbaugh off. Willis upset that Mike Ditka is sending in Harbaugh.
PT is PO'd.
PT started to go back in on his own. I think he will go back in. Yeah, here he goes.
Yep. Well, Mike Ditka making a determination that PT Willis is okay, pulls him out of the game and sends him back in. You do not often see Lorenzo White going backwards after he's been running with the ball. Highlight film for Lemuel Stinson.
And he looked up at the scoreboard to watch this. 170 pounds out of Texas Tech. A couple of knee operations. He brings it all to the field every time he comes out there. That made Ditka's night.
There is White.
This isn't.
Tackled by Carrier after a big game. The decision, of course, ultimately rests with Michael McCaskey, the president of the team. And remember when we were in Chicago a month ago, Michael McCaskey said, I want Mike Ditka to be enthusiastic enough to want to come back to coach this team next year. He was concerned about Ditka, but he wanted Mike to have the verve as Morgan makes the catch, and the enthusiasm and the will and the want to come back.
Because it's not going to be easy.
Veteran player, Dan, talking about the veteran, Steve McMichael, and as we said before, Ditka said he's probably playing the best football of all this year. Here's Wendell Davis making the catch up to the 39-yard line with 47 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that's a shame when performances and efforts like that are lost.
I wonder how much better New England would have been over the past 12 years if they hadn't cut him loose.
That's out of bounds at the 45-yard line. And that pass is picked off at the 15-yard line by Chris Dixman. 24-7. The final from Houston, and we'll return right after this.
Last night down in Houston, Monday Night Football, Mike Ditka in the throes of a 5-game losing streak going into the Astrodome with his Bears. Peter Tom Willis, turnover city, throws the pick here to Bubba McDowell just before halftime. He takes it in for the touch, 10-0 Houston. Then Cody Carlson, who's doing a very nice job filling in for the injured Warren Moon, makes Ditka's indigestion even worse. He hits Webster Slaughter for a 6-yard touchdown, 17-0 Houston. The only thing the Bears could come up with for a scoring standpoint was Willis throwing 18 yards over the middle to Neil Anderson on 3rd and 13. That made it 17-7. But Lorenzo White, who went over 1,000 yards for the year, added a 1-yard touchdown run later on. Houston wins 24-7. They are 8-5. The Bears have lost 6 straight games.
The Bears in trouble.